Should I be selling right now?
I gotta get a bigger place.
What's my house worth? What do you think? What's my house really worth?
Do we need to renovate? Oh, that's pretty. How do I buy a house?
What if I don't have time to see it in person?
What is going on with this housing market?
Don't worry. I can take the guesswork out of it.
Hello, everyone. How are you?
How's everyone doing? It's Robert and Maria McArtor with Maryland Homes team. This is Let's Talk Real Estate. We're so excited that you're coming on board with us tonight. You could be anywhere tonight. You could be anywhere, but you decided to tune into our show tonight, and we're so grateful for that. We have a jam-packed show ahead of us. Hope you're enjoying this weather, right?
Well, it's a little rainy, cold, and then sunny and warm. So you have all four seasons. Welcome to Maryland.
That's right.
In the last few days. And honey, they could be here joining us and still be anywhere. They can watch us on their phone virtually, right?
I agree.
So we're glad that you're joining in anywhere you want to be.
Anywhere you want to be, exactly.
Yeah.
So we do have...
Sorry.
No, go ahead.
I was going to say, I hope everyone had a nice Valentine's Day.
Yes, awesome Valentine's Day. And
February's almost over. We blinked and it's over.
We blinked and it's over, exactly.
In a few days.
Yep. So exciting week and exciting show, by the way. So we have Craig Blume in the house with us. Really excited to have him joining us. We also have some graphics that we're going to share with you about what's going on currently in the market and nice calendar of events, some wonderful things that are happening within our community. So we're going to talk about that. We're going to dive right into our interview with Craig Blume with Powur Energy. We're going to do that just as soon as we get back.
So every time I see that commercial, it reminds me that my son was so sad that we didn't buy our own listing because he would rather just like hunt in the woods all day, and he only cared that it had like 12 acres and 80% of it was woods. So we're like,
right?
And who's taking care of that? That would be us.
I know. It's a lot of fun. So it's a great time. People don't realize we're actually grandparents, and we had our 5th grandchild here recently. We're super excited for Shepherd Jordan. Exactly.
Congratulations to our part of our social media team.
That's right. Exactly.
And our beautiful daughter and our son in love.
That's right. And also, I have to give a birthday shout out to Clara McArtor
and Ezra.
Her son. So he was born the same day as her birthday. So what a birthday gift that was, huh?
I know.
So it's pretty wild. So
and he's a sweetie, just like her.
He is a sweetie, exactly.
He is.
So I wanted to dive in. We have some. We got to get right into the content here because we have the spring housing market.
Yes.
This could be a real good sweet spot for sellers. And I just want to dive right in, talk about this a little bit as we continue on. We had a couple of questions, and basically this one came from Cynthia in Essex. Says, I'm selling this spring. What do you think about the market? What do you think the market will be like as we're going into the spring and summer? And I just thought it'd be a good time to be able to share some of the information as far as the spring market. So we have some infographics that we wanted to share with you.
Oh, I thought you could bring your crystal ball out.
No crystal ball.
Predict what it was going to be like.
No crystal ball. No. So, the first thing is, obviously the spring housing market, this could be obviously a sweet spot for sellers. No question about it. Yeah, and we're going to share with you a couple of the stats that are out there when we talk about this. So, one of the challenges of the market, we have fewer homes, right, Maria?
Right. Still low inventory. Actually, I read it was lower than pre-pandemic. Not that I ever want to say that word ever again, but it's lower than it has been in the last few years. Yes.
Yep.
So we need your house. I'm going to put a sign out somewhere that says that.
Yeah. Also, just to let you know, this is a live Q&A type of program. So we want you to obviously put comments in the comment section below, wherever you're watching us, whether you're watching us on YouTube, Twitter, on LinkedIn, on Facebook. please feel free to leave those comments. We're going to put them up on the screen, and we'd love to be able to follow along with you. Give us a thumbs up. Let us know that we're doing a good job, and we would really appreciate that as well. So that'll be a lot of fun. So, so anyhow, as far as the spring market is concerned, the number of homes is still 43% lower, 43% lower than it was during the pandemic.
The number of homes on the market.
Yeah.
But the prices are still strong.
Prices are still very strong. That's
Yes.
correct. Yep. So this is one of the main graphics that I definitely wanted to show you. And this is really mind-blowing. If you think about the number of homes that are up from last year that are for sale, they're still below pre-pandemic numbers. So 2023, right now, there's approximately about 625,000, 626,000 homes that are on the market. But look at the numbers before, during the pandemic and even the pre-pandemic eras. So you're looking at 2018, 2019, even 2020. Look at where the volume of homes are right now that are on the market. This is still a very, very good time. As a seller, you're going to be ahead of the market by putting your home on the market this coming spring and summer. And all the stats, everything we've been listening to, Maria, I think you would agree that everyone's pointing to a time where this is going to be a great time.
Always.
For sellers.
And the good thing is, just share your plan. What are your goals? How can we help you meet those goals?
Yep.
What's your plan for the next few years? Let us help you.
Yeah. The other thing that we kind of learned is, something that we always have followed along, and that is, you're not selling a home and you're not buying a home. You are looking to. We're all about the because. You're selling a home because of something, because of an event in your life, because something has occurred in your life. Maybe you're relocating, maybe you're downsizing, maybe you have to get out of that home, go into a condominium. Maybe you're a first-time home buyer. You're getting married soon. That's your because. It's the same thing with buying a home. If you're buying a home, you're not just buying a home. Right. You're buying a home because of a certain event. Maria and I and our team, we're all about dealing with your because. That's what we're all about doing. We want to work with you during that because area of your life, and to be able to help you pre-plan that, right?
Sure.
And then we'll eventually get to the home sale. We'll eventually get to purchasing a property, but it's all about the because, and that's what we want to do.
And today we had a settlement with grandparents that are moving down here to be closer to their daughter and their grandchildren. And, I think that's just beautiful. We were able to help them sell their home out of state, and we were help them come down here and find the perfect home for them to be closer to their family. So, like they said at the settlement table, every minute counts, and they want to make sure that they're there for that. And I love that.
Yes, exactly.
I think that's so important.
It is important. Yeah, definitely.
So, honey, I have a question to throw out to the audience. If anyone is thinking about, I'd like to get some gardening tips. Like, what are people gardening? Like, what are they planting? What are their seeds? And where are they getting their soil and things like that? Maybe that would be next time show.
Maybe next time, exactly.
I've been really wanting to hear what other people have to say about that. Talking about homes, the one thing important to me was to have a yard where I could plant a bunch of gardens.
Yeah.
We have a bunch of blueberry bushes, raspberry now. We have chickens, which we've had for a while.
Mm-hmm.
But I wanted a yard where I could plant lots of gardens.
That's right. Exactly. So the other thing is, as we're obviously moving into these inflationary times and things like that, people are looking to do things that are going to save them money. One is obviously putting together a garden, maybe getting chickens. Eggs are so expensive, things like that. The other thing is people are really looking for what they can do to curtail or offset their energy. The energy savings of their home, wherever they're living. I'm hearing stories right now of people, their bills are like $400 and $500 a month just in electric.
Yes.
And I really came up with this awesome idea of, hey, listen, I've got to get a professional on board on one of our shows and talk about solar energy. At the same time that I did that, I had someone that actually texted us that sent us some messages. They just bought a home with us, and now they're thinking of going solar. I know who this person is, and can you provide me with information on the ins and outs of solar energy? So Jonathan, I appreciate you, providing that text to me, because that really solidified me getting a hold of Craig Blume with Powur Energy, and I wanted to welcome him to the show and give him a big round of applause with Powur Energy. Craig, great to see you. I
Thank you,
actually
Rob.
met him
Hi,
at the
Bria.
Coffee and Connection over at the Chamber of Commerce. Just giving them a little bit of a plug here as well. And he's just was a fantastic. I mean, he has so much information, and he is so bubbly with his personality. I really appreciated him. So Craig, please, you're with Powur Energy. Tell us a little bit about yourself first before we get started.
Hey, thanks so much, Rob. I appreciate the introduction so much. Yeah. Look, I mean, listen. I've been in sales all my life, and so I'm 58 years old. But when I found this opportunity, boy, I've been looking for this my whole life. I mean, it's a combination of, is the timing of this right? Yes. Do I have the right company behind me? Absolutely. And am I in the right industry? Yes, absolutely.
Yep.
Absolutely. So I'm excited about it. I'm excited about solar. So I really appreciate you inviting me on. I'd be honored to help the homeowners understand this, because I truly believe that that's really where the disconnect is right now. They just don't understand this. And if I can explain and educate and help the homeowners to understand this equation, I think they'd be lined up for miles outside my door, because it just makes that much sense. So ma'am, this is great. Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank
no,
you.
absolutely. So, Craig, one of the things that we think about solar is, we've sold many homes that have had solar panels, and it's actually an easy transition to go to re-register that solar system for the next home buyer. We've been on the listing side, we've also been on the buyer side, and what amazes me the most is that, before we get into some of the details, obviously the heavy details of solar, which a lot of people are waiting on right now, is I wanted to share. Anytime I get a bill from them to share as a disclosure to a buyer or something of that nature, it's always like $15 for the month, $20 for the month. I mean, it always amazes me. We sold a home even within our neighborhood that had solar panels. It's a 2,500 square foot colonial home, but her bill was like literally $12 a month. It was really, it's mind blowing. And I don't think a lot of people understand or even believe that this could actually happen for their energy bills as well. So,
it's terrific.
Yep.
Yep. Makes perfect sense.
Yeah. So, Craig, let me ask you this question. So, my question is, why solar? Why now? Why now for solar?
So look, I mean, and that's a great question, Rob. I appreciate you asking that. I mean, so why now? If you look at it, it's almost like the perfect storm has been brewing, right? So I kind of look at it like, listen, my parents, your parents, they never had options. I mean, they bought their homes, they bought their cars, but they chose to rent their electricity for the rest of their lives.
Mm.
So everyone on this call right now is locked into a lifelong lease with a utility company. They have no control over the escalating costs, and they have no ability to buy it out. So they will just continue to rent. So that lifelong lease, I mean, you never pay that utility bill off. But with solar, you can. And so solar provides a predictable monthly payment that the homeowner can, one, budget for, and then when that payment is paid off, they produce power for free for the rest of their lives. That's the carrot.
Wow.
Just like when your mortgage is paid off and you're living in that home and you're like, you don't have that expense anymore in your life. When your power plant that's placed on your roof is paid off, you produce power for free for the rest of your lives. So that's what's out there, and that's what's so unique about this opportunity today.
Yeah.
So I mean, look, it typically, most folks today, the way that they get into solar is either it's going to be a straight purchase, an outright purchase, so they'll buy the system, produce power for free instantly, or they'll do a monthly payment similar to a mortgage. And so with the incentives in Maryland, it's huge. I mean, so there's a 30% federal tax credit that was locked into law. The government signed this new clean energy bill about 90 days ago, maybe upwards to 4 months ago. But they took the federal tax credit, which was at 26%. It was going to drop down to 22 next year and go away. But what they did was they beefed it up. They beefed it up to 30%, and then they stretched it out to 10 years. So the homeowners across the country have a 30% federal tax credit that they can tap into the system. When you buy a home from you guys, the homeowner has to come up with a deposit. When they buy solar from me, the government gives them the 30% deposit. So that's the twist, right? And so in Maryland in particular, then the homeowner gets $1,000 grant 30 days later. And Maryland is also one of the states that participates in the SREC program. SRECs, some of the folks on the call may not know what that is. Some may have heard that. It's an acronym that means it's Solar Renewable Energy Credit. So the state of Maryland, has to adhere to what the government's saying in terms of they need to be producing clean energy. So what the state will do, because the homeowner goes solar and gives them that clean energy, component, they give the homeowner a credit for producing power on their roof. And oftentimes that offsets the monthly payment quite quite dramatically. So look, solar is not free. It's in the I get that, well, that's expensive. Well, yeah, but so is the lifelong lease that you're locked into for the rest of your life. And so if you look at, I'm going to spend $250,000 over the next 25 years for my power. And that's just a conservative estimate because power is going up all over the country. I mean, in fact, in the poor residents in Massachusetts and Connecticut on January the 5th, their rates doubled overnight. Doubled. So if they're spending $500 a month on January the 4th, the 5th comes, now they're spending $1,000 a month on power.
Right.
Crazy.
We've experienced that even here in Maryland, right?
And we did personally. There's not much regulation about all of that either, So
right.
I have a question, Craig. Like, when you
Please.
get solar, when will you actually feel like you're breaking even? Like, are you paying your BGE bill and your solar, and then when does solar just become that's all you're paying?
So that's a great question, Maria. Look, and so basically, as soon as you say yes, I'm ready to go, that's when you start saving instantly. So I mean, here's kind of how this shakes out, right? So, if how do I explain this to you? So you when you go solar, you stop paying your utility bill and you start paying for the solar bill instead of, right? And
Right.
so it's called like a bill swap.
Right.
So the difference is when you do go solar, that bill will never increase. It's going to stay static for you. And typically in most cases, it's either slightly less or right at what the homeowner's paying for energy right now. But the energy costs will continue to increase. And so every homeowner, how do I say this? Every homeowner's situation is slightly different. So meaning that normally what I'll do, the way that we look at this, is we ask for a copy of the homeowner's utility bill. So in Maryland, that's BG&E. And that second page of that bill gives the homeowner what their usage has been over the last 13 months.
Right.
So what I do is I go back 12 months. I take a look and calculate how much power they're consuming in the home. And then I put a system up on top of the roof to offset 100% of that. And that's my goal. Now, unfortunately, some of the homeowners will be excited about it. They'll approach me. They'll give me a copy of the bill, but their home is not facing south. Yeah, it's perhaps facing north, or it's covered by trees, or it has a slate roof that I can't put solar on. So the statistics are this. There's 130 million homes in America. 90 million of those qualify for solar. And right now, out of the 90 million that qualify, there's only 4 million that have it. So it's an untapped industry. I mean, totally untapped. Right. And you say, well, wait a minute, there's 40 million homes that don't qualify. Why? Well, they're either not facing the right direction, they are covered by trees, or they have a type of a roof that we can't, add this to. So it's untapped. The homeowners do have options today. A lot of times, Maria, I'll ask a question and say, gee, hey, why did you choose the utility company you have now? And they look at me like I'm funny. Wait a minute, that's a trick question, Craig. I didn't have a choice. You're right, they didn't. But today they do. Right. And that choice is to go solar, you go clean energy. So if you're into the green aspects of this, that's huge. Right. Because you're truly giving back, right? And so your grandchildren will have a planet that they can walk into. If we don't do something now and change this, and I don't want to get into the whole that side of this, but it's a reality. We have to do something in our world. Right. And it's readily available today.
And the sun is free.
Yeah, and one thing you were talking about with the roof, but if they happen to have like a large backyard or something, that's open, maybe there's no trees surrounding it and things like that, are ground mounts an option with solar?
Rob, that's a great question, and the answer is yes. If the homeowner, the roof doesn't play out, and they do have some additional, like they have an acre of land, right? You're exactly right. And then what we'll do is we can put a ground mount out there, and the beauty of the ground mount is you can have it facing directly south. So the way this works is it's called SWEN, SWEN, right? So the southerly facing roof gets the most amount of produces the most power. You've got the longest amount of sun hours, and so if a homeowner has a southerly facing roof, they're going to score big, right? So then it's west, then it's east, then it's north. So if the home is facing north, what I have to do normally, and that doesn't mean it's a no-go, but we got to really sort of sharpen the pencil a little bit and look at this and see, does it make sense at that point?
Right,
Because if they're facing north, they're not producing as much power. And normally I've got to then put twice as many panels up there to give them the power output that they want. So oftentimes I'll just advise the customer up front, it doesn't work.
It's not
Right.
balance out.
Right.
Yeah.
And as a salesperson, that's always tough, right? So you want to help everybody, but I guess in a sense, I'm helping them by being honest and giving them a straight answer, right?
Absolutely.
This has been a big question from folks in the past whenever we've listed a home in an HOA or even represented a buyer in an HOA. How do HOAs affect the ability to install or have installed solar panels? Are they restrictive in any manner? By law in Maryland, can they even be restrictive? Shed some light on that if you can.
That's a great question. And the reality is that the HOA, it depends on the state. It depends on obviously, the area that we're looking in the county. But for the most part, the HOA cannot deny you. The government is behind this. The government said, listen, we're going green. We've decided that fossil fuels are finished, and this is the direction that they're going. And so the associations will say, you know what, sometimes they'll force and say, well, you can only be on the back of the house. We don't want them on the front of the house. And they say that, but then I go into a neighborhood and I see the front and back. So I know that, they can't deny it. Yeah. They can't deny it. But, there are certain HOAs in like an historic district that might be a little bit more restrictive as well, but at the end of the day, you're going to get the approval to do it.
You're going to get the approval. Yeah, the higher ups above HOAs are saying it's okay. You can move forward with it. Yeah, I have heard that HOAs can only be restrictive in the sense of where some of the cables or maybe the panel, the control panel and stuff could be mounted. They can state where that is going to be mounted, but as far as the panels are concerned, for the most part, I think you're correct, Craig. I don't think HOAs have a good standing when it comes to denying the ability to put panels on a roof. So that's great.
So I'm going to play devil's advocate.
Oh, here we go.
Devil's advocate is normal. Yeah, but then it might be an issue when they go to sell. You think? If they're like, well, we said only on the front, the ones on the back have to come off. Yeah. I mean, nobody governs the HOAs. It's ridiculous. Sorry, that's my 2 cents. Not supposed to be political.
Yeah, I mean, if there's an HOA involved, we're going to want to get the approval before we start.
Sure.
And so we're not going to just they have an HOA. We're not going to talk to them. We're just going to come in and put it on the front and back and then let the thing play out. No, we have an obligation to do it correctly, to do the right thing. So we will go through the HOA. That is part of the project, part of the process. I mean, it's one of the questions I ask the homeowner up front. And so we will want to get their buy-in before we start the project.
So Craig, I provided some slides here for our viewers to just take a look at. If you want to maybe highlight some information off of here, we can go through some of these slides just to maybe clear up exactly what the end user's expectations are, the home buyer or even the home seller, what their expectations are.
Well, thank you, Rob. Yeah, this is a great little picture, if you will. graphic because it just illustrates how solar works. And so for a lot of the listeners on the call, they may or may not know how this works, but the solar panels actually receive, or they create power in DC like a battery for direct current. Okay. So the panels across the roof are receiving in DC. So if the home was working on DC, you wouldn't have to do anything but just run the panels directly to to your utility box. So what happens in this case is, because it generates power in direct current or DC like a battery, you have something there called an inverter. And the inverters convert, if you will, there's probably a better way to say that, they convert the DC current into AC current. So when it's AC or alternating current, which is how the power is typically delivered to your home, then the home can consume the power, and you also can then, the excess power that you don't use can be pushed out to the grid, and you may light the neighbors up, that their homes, that type of thing, with the power that you're producing. So there's something called a net 1-to-1 metering, and so in Maryland, what that means is, when the excess power that you produce during the day that you don't consume and you push it out to the grid, your meter goes backwards. And so the meters are electronic, they're digital today, so you don't necessarily see that, that spinning backward meter, but they do go backwards. And the same amount that you buy power back from in the retail rate is what you sell it. So it's a net 1-to-1 metering.
Nice.
But not every state is set up that way. So Maryland is really pro-solar, set up quite well to handle that.
Yeah, that's great. Exactly.
That's good news.
Yes,
Don't
thank you.
about our state.
Thank you.
It's
So this is very unique to Powur. I mean, so Powur, by the way, is the 43 fastest growing company in America today. Out of 32 million companies, we're number 43 on the list. So we created a technology platform for solar, just like Uber did for the taxi industry. Where if you just look at that, word is that everything's going to a platform, right? I mean, movies, you go to Netflix, that type of thing. So, look, what I'm trying to show here is that Powur is a B certified corporation, and B certified. There's only about 2,000 companies in America that are. But B certified means that we have to give back, and so we do. So we're planting trees in the Amazon. We're going to Mexico and building homes for the less advantaged, disadvantaged families. We're offsetting the millions of pounds of carbon into the atmosphere. But that's what this screen is illustrating here, the B certified. So what that means in terms of the equivalent is, as a B certified corporation, as we're giving back, in terms of some of these statistics on here, and this is a busy screen, so I apologize, but in terms of the savings, and again, this was back in 2021, but so our report will have updated numbers for 22 and then 23 when we get through. So this is pretty important here, guys. We're talking to you in Maryland. I live in Maryland. And so Maryland's a great state for solar. But what happens when someone goes solar here, they get, they're excited. They're finally, they've done this. They're excited. They want to tell others. And so they say, gee, Craig, this is so fantastic. I really, really wish you could help my brother. My brother lives in Florida. I can help your brother in Florida. And I got a cousin that's out in California, and I really wish you could help. I can help them in California. So everything that you see in blue is where Powur is the general contractor right now. So because, I'm certified under, in solar, I'm certified with Powur to handle this in every state. I literally can help homeowners across the country,
Wow.
So that family you were talking about, that older couple that you just sold that brand new home to, that moved down, if they were moving back out of the state, we could do something similar, using the Powur platform like this to help them.
So you're very much like Remax. We can go anywhere.
We can go anywhere.
And everywhere.
Pretty
Around
much.
the world,
Around the world.
actually.
That's
the
right.
world. I just
That's right.
posted-
I love that. Love that.
I do love that.
Yep.
And also giving back to others. That's very big to us.
Thank you.
Yeah, so
Thank
I'm
you,
kind of going backwards in the little presentation here for our viewers, but just by sharing some of these slides. But I wanted to obviously share with them as far as the warranty and things like that. But also wanted to share, I'm not sure if there's anything you want to point out on this, Craig.
So yeah, I do want to point this out because this is a real differentiator for Powur. We are the only company that's offering a 30-year solar warranty.
Wow.
So others out there, they're sort of they've seen Powur, they see what we're doing, we're disrupting the industry. So there's a lot of Me Too's out there all of a sudden. And what you'll see is a combination of a similarity of this using perhaps the manufacturer's warranty, but the labor warranty is only 10 years. This is a 30-year bumper-to-bumper warranty that includes both labor and hardware with zero deductibles to the homeowner, ever. So, they move ahead with a system with me. A solar panel stops working in the 20th year. It's replaced free of charge. If the inverter stops working, it's replaced free of charge. If we put nails in the roof and that roof leaks in the year 25, it's repaired free of charge. So, this is now if we get a horrific storm that comes in and a tree drops across the home, this warranty is not going to cover that. That's going to go through homeowners and through an insurance claim, in which the insurance claim is going to use Powur through this program to fix the home anyway. So just put the customer at ease, let them know, listen, this is the kind of warranty that you have. You put this system on your roof. You're basically, I'm in the construction business. I'm putting a power plant on someone's rooftop or in their backyard.
Exactly.
But they have a 30-year warranty to cover it.
Yeah, that's pretty amazing. I just wanted to show also our viewers, by the way, you're basically getting an in-home presentation in the privacy of your own home of what solar is all about, and being able to have solar installed in your home. And I just think it's fantastic. But I just wanted to give an opportunity to everyone to just see how easy it is to navigate on the website. So when you go to the Powur website, and of course we'll provide the link for you a little bit later, but basically what they're looking for is you enter in your zip code and you just get your utility bill ready. Be able to, I guess maybe, what do you do, Craig? Do you upload that into the system, or is that required right away?
That's exactly right. No, so that's the only thing that I really, really need from the homeowner is a copy of their bill. Then the process starts. I can't do it without it. But I do ask a number of questions. And so the questions I typically ask are, gee, Mr. Homeowner, Mrs. Homeowner, are you looking to buy an EV anytime soon? EV for an electric vehicle. Because we can put the charging stations, into the system. And then you're truly charging your electric vehicle with clean energy. You're not driving across town and plugging in using a charger that was charged using fossil fuels to charge your EV car, right? So I asked the question, are you going to add an EV anytime soon? Because that's going to be an additional power, requirement. Gee, does the homeowner have a hot tub? Are they going to add one? Do they have a pool? Are they going to add one of those? Just trying to gauge, what their power consumption, their power usage is going to be over the next couple of years, so that I build the right system to take care of them. And so that's typically, that how this goes. But to your point, Rob, the bill generates the proposal. So I plug that in, and literally within 1 hour of me installing that on my website, I've got a full-fledged proposal back, engineering drawings, the whole nines. And so typically what we do is we use a copy of Google Earth. We take a picture of the homeowner's roof. I'll maximize that roof with solar panels, and to offset 100% of what they're doing. If they're saying, hey, Craig, I'm going to be adding an EV sometime soon, I may set it at 120% because I need a couple more megawatts of power megawatts, kilowatts of power to handle the charging of that vehicle. So again, it's a very similar process, but each system, each homeowner is different because their consumption of power in each home is different, right?
Wow.
So that's kind of how we put this together, trying to take the mystique out.
That's true.
Yeah, that's great information. I mean, that really is. I mean, we have so much limited time. I have something I want to do. I actually want to bring in, if you don't mind, I want to bring in one of the previous customers that you had in the past, and people like to.
Well, they're probably still a customer. Honey.
Of course, Craig. They're gonna hear from you, right? But then they always will want to hear from the customer as well. And and I have with us Paul Kern. Paul, are you there? Oh, good. Hang on 1 second. Let me get you onto the call here. You're not there yet, are you?
Yes, he said hello.
I can, but give me 1 second here. Let me figure out what I've got to get you into our.
Just put close to your mic.
Yeah, well, I could do that, but
That's easier.
yeah, exactly. So, sorry about that, Paul. I'm trying to get you on here. Give me 1 second, just a little technical. This is a great thing about doing this, by the way.
We are live.
We are live,
We're-
right? Paul, you're going to be on in
the
1
real
second.
deal, honey. I can hear him.
Nope, he's on now. Go ahead, Paul. Go ahead, Paul.
You there?
Yeah, I'm here. I can hear you perfect. Craig, can you hear him okay?
Okay.
Yeah, what's
Sorry
up,
about
Paul?
that. Yeah.
Hey, Craig, how are you?
Doing well, doing real well. Thanks for your time tonight. Appreciate it.
Anytime.
Paul, we've been talking about. Appreciate you coming on. By the way, I know you have a busy life there with the wife and kids and things like that. But you're a previous customer of Craig. We've been obviously talking about solar for the last half hour or so, and he's been very insightful. A lot of information out there. Can you just share with our viewers that are watching our podcast right now, maybe how you were introduced to Craig and the entire process from maybe start to finish in just a few minutes here, and talk about the solar power for yourself, your family, and we'll go from there.
Yeah, sure, no problem. I mean, Craig, just like any other sales guy trying to sell solar, went door to door in the neighborhood. Big difference with Craig, with me, was, I told him what I was looking for, and he didn't tell me yes, he could do it, and then ultimately come back and not be able to do it. I told him, I had a Tesla. We were putting a pool in, hot tub. Obviously, he needed a copy of the bill, and big thing for me was, I wanted to be able to finance it over a long period of time. And Powur, at least in all my research, was the only company that allowed me to do that. So I didn't want to switch to solar and end up paying more than what I averaged currently with my electricity bill. I wanted to basically swap them out.
Sure.
And
So
that's
that's how
exactly
I
what
think.
they,
That's great.
yeah.
That's
They were
what I
able
was
to
thinking.
bring it back to me.
So, Paul, this is
With,
what everyone
one
is
for one.
thinking. They may not be typing it into the questions yet. And by the way, if you have any questions, please type them in the comment section. We love to be able to put your questions or comments up on the screen. But, Paul, let me ask this question. So, if you don't mind sharing an estimate of maybe what your utility bill was before solar and what it is now after you had the solar panels installed.
Well, I guess it wouldn't be fair because it is wintertime, so
That's true.
we're not getting the maximum. A lot of my neighbors that got solar prior to me, they're paying next to nothing right now, but they had the luxury of having their solar panels throughout the summer months, and that's,
Right.
at least what I've been told, that's when I'm going to see the biggest gain. But right now, I'd say we're averaging about $150 to $200 less a month
Wow.
just in the wintertime. So, I mean, we're still paying, but like I said, I charge my Tesla every night because I have a long commute to work, but that definitely adds to my electricity bill.
Wow. I guess that parlays into a question I was just thinking, and that is, Craig, what do you think about the battery packs? Does Powur offer that?
So yeah, absolutely, a great question, and so we do, and the way I typically handle that now, the batteries are sort of referred to as a modern day generator, right? And so, so I asked that the homeowner question this. I mean, how often do you lose power? And if they don't lose power very often, then I typically do not add the cost of the battery to their system. Okay, unless they've got an entirely set of they want to do things differently, then we'll discuss that. But in general, that's what I do. So if you're not losing power very often, we're not going to inflate the cost of your system with the battery. Now, in California, because they passed some new laws there, unfortunately, it's called NEM 3.0. And it's the utility companies are fighting back. They're called public companies, but they are privately held. Just so you know. So they passed this NEM 3.0 in California, which means that in Maryland right now, what Paul's talking about is the net one-to-one metering. So in the summer months, Paul's going to produce much more power than he's using, and he's going to basically sell that to the utility company. And then in the winter months, when he's not producing as much power because there's shorter days, he may have to buy a little bit back from the utility company. Okay. And then in April, or basically one complete year after the system was installed, it's called true up. So the utility company says, hey, Paul, you sent us 20 kilowatts worth of power. You only bought back 5. We owe you a credit of 15. And so then for the next year, he'll start with a credit. And that's what he's referring to about his neighbors being zeroed out.
Nice.
In California, what they did was they just passed this law to say if you buy power from the utility company for $1, when you go to sell it back to them, they're going to give you 25 cents. Right?
We're not in California.
Gotta love California.
One out of several reasons, but
yes.
So much,
yes.
Wow.
So they tried a similar thing in Florida, and we caught wind of it, and we killed the bill. They did do that in Phoenix, and it was reversed. So we're waiting to see how this thing plays out.
So
in
Paul,
California.
I'm going to put you on the spot here, Paul, if you don't mind, and that is
Sure.
on a scale from 1 to 10, how satisfied are you with this system being installed on your home?
I'd give it a 12
Give
right
it a
now.
12. Wow.
Awesome. So how many days? You don't get to ask all the questions.
That's right.
Anyway, Paul, how many days
Her
did
voice
it
is so much better than mine anyway.
did it take for them to install it?
The whole process, or from when they actually started installing it?
When they started installing it?
I think it took them a day and a half. I mean, they sent like
Okay.
a small army to my house.
Well, that's the best way to do it, right? Knock it out and as fast
Exactly.
as you can. Awesome. That's
Because
great.
Paul and Craig, if I'm not mistaken, the system is actually designed for your home. So they have to go back, they have to design it, how many panels are going to be installed, and things of that nature. So it does take a little bit of time up front, but it is pretty seamless, though. Is that correct?
Yes.
Correct. I mean,
So
the biggest holdup is the county. It's not.
Yes,
power
that's what I
themselves.
hear. Waiting them to switch that button. That's what I've heard.
Yeah.
It's a lot of
Thank you,
work.
Paul.
But maybe with a new sheriff in town, it might get faster. But that's all I'm going to
Maybe.
say. Now, Paul, are all of your solar panels on your roof, or do you have some on the ground?
No, they're all on the roof, front and back. We
Okay.
did, and on top of the third bay of the garage, we have solar panels there as well.
Oh, that's a good idea. I think we'd have to cut that tree down.
That's great.
I'm just thinking ahead. No.
That's great, Paul. So basically, you met with Craig one-on-one to get things started, paperwork filled out, things of that nature. Were you able to go online to do any of this in the very beginning, or you just met Paul at the front door with your dinner in hand, and you're like, "What are you here to sell me?"
That's exactly it. I met him out front. Was
I
out
love
front
it.
playing with the kids actually, and
I
handed
love
him
that.
a copy of my BG&E bill, and he took it and ran with it. So
Oh my goodness.
Craig, you might want to do real estate part time.
Yeah, you might want to do real estate part time because exactly, because a lot of people don't do the door to door, but Craig will do it. Craig
I've
is
done the
gonna do
door
it.
to door. I have no problem with that.
When you believe in your product, you go door to door and you knock on those
Absolutely.
doors.
Well,
and
it's
that's
because
perfect.
Yeah.
helping people. That Craig has the same mentality as us as
That's right.
as real estate agents. We want to help people.
That's right.
And
Yeah.
on my BGE bill, I like to get help with.
Yeah, we're going to have to get help with it. So, Craig, we'll definitely be talking off
I
air.
hate that bill. That's probably the one bill I despise the most.
We'll definitely be talking off air, and but that's but Paul, like I said before, I didn't want
Yeah,
to take
let
up
him
too much of your time. But if you have
Thank
any other
you.
comments or anything you want to share with us, please feel free to do so before we let you go.
I just want to say it is an exceptional company. We did have a roof leak and called Craig. Less than 24 hours later, they had it set up to come out and repair. Not only did they repair the roof, they repaired the drywall, insulation, paint inside the house, and they also, because they felt bad, they included a $500 gift card for us to take the family out to
What?
dinner with. So
Oh man, I'm going to pray
yeah,
for a roof
I mean,
leak. No, I'm joking. I'm joking. I'm joking.
but all the way through, they've been great. I mean, they set you up with, their app on your phone. You can follow along step by step where they're at in the process, so you're never guessing where you're at or what you're waiting on. And Craig, he's on top of it. He definitely checks in with you routinely to keep you updated, so you're not guessing where you're at. So it was a great process.
Awesome.
Like I said, the longest wait was the county, and then after that, you're just waiting for BG&E if you're in Maryland
Right.
to come out,
Right.
swap your meter, and
Right.
tell you can start creating solar.
Yes. Right.
No, I appreciate that, Paul. Appreciate your time being on the phone with us,
Thank
and
you.
it's a joy to have you. And these are real world things, by the way. These are real world situations that occur. And I'm glad Paul's able to share that because, it's one
have
thing.
a good night, Paul. Thank you
Well,
again.
yeah. It's
Thank
one thing
Paul.
to sit here and like feel like you're being sold on something, but we just wanted to bring on an actual customer and talk about, what their experience was with it from start to finish, how much money they're saving and things like that. So I really do appreciate Paul coming on board with us.
I chose him specifically. I mean, number one, I like Paul. I like him a lot. I think he's a great guy. He's an air traffic controller, by the way, is what he does for a living,
Come
which is
on.
pretty neat.
Awesome.
Yeah. So he's up there directing planes. Hopefully, he wasn't doing that on the call.
Yeah.
Take
but
a break.
but
Take
no,
a break.
Paul, look, I mean that the one thing that you don't want to happen is you don't want to have an issue, right? But it's construction, and so if you do have an issue, was it handled in the correct way, and was it handled? How was the spirit of the company when they did that? So, yeah, I mean, Paul did have a leak, and he had a leak from the installation, and he called me, and we stepped up instantly. And so that's not okay, we'll get to it. No, that's an emergency.
Right.
And so we handled it in the right manner, the spirit that Paul addressed, and so I didn't coach him. This was Paul just giving his direct experience to the homeowners and to the listeners, and so it's real world.
That's
You
awesome.
shake my hand, you don't have to count your fingers, I promise.
That's great.
So, Craig,
So
can I
how-
ask how
Please.
many years? Like, what are the options to, I guess, finance it? Is X amount of years? I mean, of course, people can pay in cash, or pay in full. I don't know if anybody takes cash anymore, but I do. Just saying.
Well, so that's a great question, Maria. And so prior to the market correction or the increase in the rates where they are today, statistically, what we were doing at Powur, about 5% of the time we did a straight purchase, and about 95% we did a monthly loan or a monthly payment, similar to a mortgage. Although I am able to sell a lease or a Powur purchase agreement, we don't. And so the reason being is if a homeowner does not have an appetite for the tax credit, then I'll go with the lease, because the installing company gets the tax credit, the homeowner gets the benefit of the solar. But in general, it's either going to be an outright purchase or it's going to be a monthly payment. So that monthly payment can be could be as long as 25 years, could be as short as 5 years.
Right.
And obviously,
Okay.
you're paying things differently. So
Sure.
we have a loan right now through Sunlight, which is a 9.9% loan, which is just about where the mortgage rates are today.
A little
But the
more.
loan origination
Let me
fees are,
clarify that. A little more.
oh yeah, a little bit more. Okay, all right. But the mortgage, the loan origination fees are next to nothing. It's
Right.
almost the same price of a purchase. So a lot of times the homeowner will do that. It's a slightly higher interest rate, but the intention is they want to pay this off faster, right?
Sure.
So the average homeowner pays it off in 6 to 7 years.
Right.
And so that the statistics are this: if you stay connected to the utility company and you don't do anything, after staying connected and being forced to pay all the increases and everything else that they do, after 9 years of paying those forced increases, you would have purchased a solar system anyway.
Right. Right.
So it's 9 years. That's the stats.
It's about 9
right?
years.
Wow. And 9 years goes by, you'll blink, and 9 years goes by.
Right.
Yeah.
Yep.
So true.
Yeah.
Well, we
that's
really
crazy.
appreciate you being here, Craig, tonight.
Craig, we really do. We're kind of winding down on the time,
Yes.
but I tell you, so the best way, if you want to get started, if you're watching this program right now, the best way to get started, obviously visit the website, solarsavesusmoney.com. When you go there, you're going to our Powur Energy website. You can put in your zip code, have that utility bill ready there, and you can get the process started, tonight, tomorrow. But don't wait. Don't put this off. I think it's going to be a good decision for you, a good decision for your family. And I think it's great to be able to go green. You can obviously see the savings, and everyone is going green right now with solar, and especially during these inflationary times. You're trying to save money as much as possible, and this is obviously something that you're in control of. You're in control of this. A lot of the other things you aren't in control of. You aren't in control of the price of eggs, right? that seems to be, $1 million.
Unless you have chickens.
You feel like you won the lotto if you have a dozen eggs, right?
Right.
But,
yes.
so,
He's very sweet to our chickens now. He wasn't always.
Energy you have control over, though. And so I encourage you to get started. Go to, again, solarsavesusmoney.com. Craig, I absolutely appreciate you coming on board.
You.
Any final words you want to share with us before we continue on with the show?
Yeah, no, listen, I really, really appreciate, you inviting me on. I love you guys. Thank you. Thanks for, really enjoyed meeting you. Yeah. So look, I mean, what you're describing there in the end, Rob, is what we refer to as energy security. Right. And so right now the homeowner doesn't have that. If they stay on the grid, they're just going to be forced to pay those increases. And there's a better way. There is another option today. And so it's in some respects we sometimes we say it's an IQ test, right? But honored to help you, honored to help your listeners. This is my chosen profession. I'm in with both hands, both feet, and my head, and so I love it. I love I love everything about it. I love helping people, and I love doing the green thing, and I like being at the right place at the right time because this is coming. Statistically, they're saying the next 5 years, 1 in every 3 homeowners will go solar. So you'll see your neighbor will go up, your brother,
Sure.
even your mother may go, and you go, "Geez, Mom, did you know I was selling solar?" So
That's right. Exactly, yeah.
right? No, it's out there. It's out there. Honored.
I wish mine would.
Thank you.
Craig,
Thank you.
true
Thank you so
words
much.
of wisdom. I greatly
Yes.
appreciate you again
Thank
coming
you.
on board. It was awesome to have you, and looking forward to see you at the next Coffee and Connections.
Yes.
Yes,
Have
sir.
a great
Chamber
night.
of Commerce. Have a great night. We're going to dive right in to our calendar of events. We'll be right back.
There's no need to complicate things. Let's stick to the basics. We both know what we want. Let's just keep it simple. Oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah. We dance on the same wavelength. This feels like a new beginning. We both know what we want. Let's just keep it simple. Oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah. So won't you let me trip with you? Leaning on fire, leave us till tomorrow. So won't you let me trip with you? Leaning on fire, leave us till tomorrow. So won't you let me? So won't you I dream that if I can hold you close, you can be my antidote. Let me run away through the night. Let us leave the world behind. Give in, keep yourself thinking. Tonight, let go as you're dreaming. I was feeling down low, you just brought me straight up. Oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah. Oh, we're higher than the ceiling. I feel everything is spinning.
So many things going on in and around our communities. We're really excited.
Love that.
If you have something going on, whether you're an organization, whether you're a business, something special that week or so, please feel free to email us. You can DM us as well.
Yes.
The information, we'll be sure to include you in our calendar of events.
And we want to remind them about the auction that you're going to be doing for Extreme Family Outreach on March the 10th
yes.
at Richland Ballroom. If you want to support a good cause, this is the one.
Yeah, that's going to be a lot of fun. We had that slide in the calendar of events.
Yep.
So if you want to rewind and go back
Yes.
to that information, please. I'd love to be able to see you there. It's always a packed house.
It
The
is
classics are going to
always a
be in
packed
there
house.
playing, and it's just going to be a lot of fun. So
Yes.
we're going to dive right into the housing stats, and we'll be right back.
also awesome to see housing prices going up and negotiations are back, which is a good thing. So, name your price. What would you like to sell your house for?
That's right.
Just give us a call.
Name your price. Give us a call. Let's see what we can do for you. And we have buyers in waiting. We really do. So we're really excited to be able to serve you, serve our community. And we're really excited that you have joined us this evening. Hope that it was power-packed information, something that you can use, something that you can take with you and say, you know something, I'm going to implement that this week. What I just saw on Let's Talk Real Estate with Rob and Maria. So
have a great week.
Super excited. Have a great week.
You forgot.
Oh, I did forget.
Did I cut you off?
No,
Sorry.
you did cut me off because I was going to say, Maria, we're always better what?
Together.
We're always better together. And remember this, when you're looking to buy or sell a home, you want to contact Maryland Homes team. Put us at the top of companies that you want to interview, and you're not going to be disappointed. I promise you that. Until next week, we'll see you then.
Good night.
Or 2 weeks from now. Not next week. 2 weeks from now.
Correct.
Right?
What's your story? What's your sign? It's like we're twin flames in a different life. Deep connection lights a spark. It's like you know me in the depths of my heart. We're dreamers. Don't care what other people say. We live it like this could be a final day. We're dreamers. Don't care what the others say. We're doing this in our way. We come alive in the nighttime. Something about how we dance in the moonlight. That look in your eyes, it tells me that you want me and all my loving. We come alive in the nighttime. You and I, we come alive. We come alive. We come alive. What's your weakness? What's your type? Somehow